All right, everybody. Welcome to the next episode of Talk the Walk, episode 13. We got some guests talking about the latest and greatest on what's going on with Undisputed and what we hope to see in the next update coming out. We got some new guests, so let me go ahead and introduce them. We got BBK, What We Play in Mike was originally on the last episode, and we got AClockworkOrin welcoming
What's
on the
good?
scene. So let me go ahead and start things off by having everyone introduce themselves, starting with Orin. Tell us about yourself.
What's good, people? Obviously, I'm a Clockwork Orin Combat on all social media profiles. I mean, platforms if you want to check out my content. Um, my Undisputed journey started with early access. I've been playing since day one. I actually have over 2,000 hours in gameplay, so I do love this game, care about this game a lot. And about 3 months ago, I decided to start making content and created a YouTube channel. So yeah.
Right, good to hear. Damn, you're a day one like me too. Very cool, very cool. I mean, maybe we fought before, I'm not sure. But we should if in the future when the game is updated again.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, BBK. Tell us about yourself.
Yo, what's up, fellas? My name is Eddie. I did not get the chance to play the game on the PC before launch, so I played the launch version. Started a YouTube channel, pretty much like Orin, and build a community little by little. Started a Discord channel, and my thing is watching the best fighters fight each other. I'm good at the game, but I'm not the best at the game.
Mhm.
But I really enjoy putting tournaments and watching the best fight, the best, and I think that's the best part about the game, watching the best fighters fight each other.
Very nice. It's good to have you on. Mike, go ahead and give us an introduction.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's what we playing, Mike. Kind of similar to these guys, man. Said my journey started on TikTok. I run my own boxing league called Fight Factory League. Really just started doing a lot of networking with a lot of other leagues around, man, and kind of like BBK, man. I like putting together the fights. I fight in my league in my league as well, but I really like the side of putting big matchups together, getting the best of the best fighters, finding the best of the best fighters, man, and giving them a platform to showcase their skills and abilities. So yeah, man, that's pretty much it, man. Just working hard, man. Working hard.
Very nice. It's great to have you on the show. All right, so now that we've got all the introductions all set and ready to go, let's go ahead and jump right into our first little topic. And that is a pretty big one, I would say. So, a question to you guys is, do you guys think the boxing sim or, the style of it, do you think it's realistic in terms of what we have now? And depending on your answer, do you think Undisputed will eventually get there, or do you think it might be there to some degree as we have it at the moment? Open-ended question. I guess I'll have Orin start us off. What do you think?
Well, I think sim is down to how you play. There's definitely sim mechanics in the game, but there's also broken mechanics in the game as well. I
Mhm.
feel like if you attempt to play sim against someone who's cheesing, you will have no chance. So it's mostly the community making the game not sim. So they could take out all of the exploits, but then people will still play in ways to find the most exploitive things they can do to win. So I feel like it's all about the community rather than the game at the moment. But there are
No.
problems with the game right now.
Yeah, I would definitely have to agree with you. Right now, the community is not too big, but with who we have and who's been playing for a long time, most of us, I would say, know the difference between sim versus not sim. And
Yeah.
right now, I think people are kind of in a mindset where they just want to do anything to win, even if that means foregoing the idea of sim, which I'm pretty sure the devs themselves have said that that's what they wanted this game to be. So the fact that you have people just, wanting to take the next best mechanic and just abuse it, well, it's kind of tough. I'm sure the devs will probably keep an eye on what everyone's saying about it, but you pretty much hit everything on the head with that.
Yeah. I
Uh,
also think, sorry, to go in that
yeah.
that people's interpretation of sim as well is what's a problem. So what I think is sim and what you think is sim might be two different things. So
Mhm.
then you could be in your community saying I'm the most sim player, and to me you're not sim at all. And I feel like that's a big disconnect happening now as well.
No, I agree with that as well. It's just people play the game how they want to play it. It's kind of what I mentioned in one of the episodes a long while ago. As much as I don't, want to have to deal with people who play that way, it's, you bought the game. It's you did it with your own money. You play how you see fit. But when you get, the same treatment that you are giving out, you can't be mad at that because at the end of the day, you're dishing that out. So if someone's giving it back to you and you lose to it, well, that's on you at that point. But yeah, the perspectives is different, and that's pretty much a big thing with the community right now. What we playing, Mike? What do you have to add to that?
I'd have to agree with Orin. Like I feel like the community, it has to start within the community. Like no matter what, there's other games that, in other sports genres, that are sim, so to
Mhm.
say. Like Madden is supposed to be the football sim. NBA 2K is but I think it goes down to more how the community plays it. Because just like in those other games, people unfortunately, the majority of people in gaming, they look for exploits. They look for the easiest, the meta, the most effective tactics, advantage type thing.
Mhm.
So people are gonna always look for that. Like I tell people a lot of times in my streams, Steel City could Steel City could drop an update tomorrow. This update that we getting in August, they could drop this update and it could fix it could fix desync, it could fix the lunge and body jab, it could fix all these different things, right?
Mhm.
And I guarantee you by 2 days from now, it'll be a YouTube video or a TikTok video. This is the number one style to use to get wins, or this is the number one. And it's so I think it comes down to the community, and that's why a lot of leagues have structure, a lot of leagues have rules, because just like Orin said, my interpretation of sim could be different because some people get online and you fight them in rank and let them tell it. They sent I'm boxing, man. And then, and I'm boxing. That's what people love to say when they just kind of backing up and running the whole fight or whatever the case. So I think we could get to a sim point. I think it's just going to take the right, the right members of the community really starting something where it's recognized like by the whole undisputed community. Like, okay, this is what if I want sim, this is where I want to go. This is where I want to be. But
Right.
I never, I don't think that any gameplay mechanics they could add or fix or whatever. Right? We all agree the game needs fixing, but even when it gets to that point, at this point I don't believe the majority of people in the community even care to fight that way. They just want to win. So
No, I agree. Everyone's reasons for playing the game is different. Some people, get on the game to actually try and have that,
right,
most authentic experience of the boxing for, whatever reason that might be. Maybe they can't do it IRL, so this game is their outlet for that to make up for not being able to do it at all. While
definitely,
some people just want to, enjoy their favorite fighter and fight the way they want to. But then when you come across mechanics and things like that, it comes down to is your opponent going to fight the same way as you?
right.
And that is where we have our, back and forth in the community, I would say.
And I
Uh,
think just last part. I know we don't want to run too long, but I think still, I wish Steel City would take the risk because I hear a lot of people in the community and discords and stuff say, well, it wouldn't sell if it wasn't casual friendly. And I look at other sport, I was in the sim racing a while back, and I look at those communities like iRacing, Assetto Corsa, Gran Turismo. Those games, like, it's those games aren't for players that like to play Need for Speed. Need for
hmm
Speed,
Mm,
and they've been able to be successful by sticking true to like Assetto Corsa. If you don't like sim racing, don't even try it. iRacing, you're not gonna like it. So their community may be smaller, but they're getting a better quality of game
Right.
because everybody who's playing those games is getting that for a reason. So I think Steel City, I'd like to see them, maybe take the risk. And I don't know if it could happen with the current version of Undisputed, but maybe take a risk and maybe on the next one, when we get future updates, start leaning more towards the sim community instead of the casuals.
Yeah. That is the perfect example. That's kind of what, for those of you that play like, the fighting games like Tekken 8 is having that issue. They started catering to the casuals because, fighting games are not exactly a very it's a strong entry, let's put it that way. But they want to make sure that, the best of both worlds are getting what they need. But when you cater to one over the other, there's going to be a lot of discourse. And I think overall, most people really love the sim, like the styles of high level play. It's
Yeah,
great to watch. Much like Undisputed, same thing. It's really nice to watch high level players play the game. So you can still have the casual audience. You can just do other modes and do other things to appeal to them while still keeping the sim players happy. It's definitely possible.
right.
And I think Undisputed will get there. It's just going to take a little bit of time.
Definitely.
BBK, anything to add to that?
Um, so what's the question? What sim? Or just piggybacking off Mike?
You can piggyback off Mike, or I'll just essentially, with the game as it is now, do you think sim boxing is possible, or do you think there's a catch to it?
I think it's possible for sure. Yeah, the game has its problems, but for the most part, the guys I know that are the best fighters keep it sim. You just got can't worry about the win too much, you just gotta have
Right,
fun with it. That's why the best fighting is with your gym, with your guys. If you hop on rank, you never know who you're gonna fight. You might be fighting a 13-year-old, you might be fighting, you never know.
right.
So you're not gonna get the best boxing experience, simulation, and ranked. In my league, I have no rules because I believe the only rule I believe in is the engagement rule because I don't want you
Hmm.
just to jab and run around and try to win by points. But I believe a good sim boxer, a good sim fighter, could adjust to the cheese, could adjust to anything, and I've seen it. So that's why I have no rules, even though people don't abuse it or cheese in my league.
Yep.
If they do, I know fighters that could counter that and still keep it sim dealing with the cheese. So that's why I don't have rules. And if you body jabbing me, I'm gonna try to find a way around it,
Right. And no,
basically.
that's a good way to have. That's no, I do agree to some extent with that. There are ways to deal with it. Sometimes it might not be the most effective way for you or just a style that you don't want to have to use to deal with that. But like you said, in some way, shape, or form, there's usually an answer to deal with a particular thing that a fighter is doing. And it's up to that fighter to kind of figure that out. And I do agree to some extent with that. I think with the state, as the game is in, it might be harder for some only because you have to play connections. Sometimes the connections don't play nice, and someone's having a good time while the other person's having the fight of their life, but to each their own with that. Um, I think those are pretty good answers. Everyone has some pretty solid things with that. So I think we can move on to the next topic, which is this update. What do you think they did right versus what do you think they didn't do as well as it should have been? Orin, I'll go ahead and start with you.
Well, I think the main thing they said in the patch is that they found the bug that was causing hit detection and tracking to be off.
Hmm.
And for me, I don't know about you guys, this is just my personal experience. It's now worse than ever. I'm missing worse than ever. I'm whiffing worse than ever. And it's frustrating because you will throw a shot that should land, you'll miss, then you'll get countered because the game thinks that you missed. And then
Yep.
that adds into your frustration, and then you're not enjoying the game as much as you should. Um, they made changes to the stamina. I do like that. It stops like spamming and excessive punching. It could be tweaked a little bit more, I feel. But
Hmm.
all in all, uh my over opinion of the patch, I'm not enjoying the game as much as I used to. I'll say that.
Fair, no, that's fair. Everyone has their enjoyment levels of the game, and some updates are more fun for others and some not. Like you said, there are issues still. Some punches are in fact still missing. Sometimes when you're right up close onto them, they make a mistake. You do the proper punch to counter them. It either goes through them or the game doesn't seem to register it, and so they get a counter, which in turn is like, well, why? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that kind of goes back to desync. I think the desync, with some of the things they've done, has made that stronger, and some people feel it more than others. And like you said, it's pretty rough. Some people I've heard just don't feel it as much, and I'm
Yeah.
like, man, let me have your game, please.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like let me play on your platform. Let me see what's going on. But
Yeah, and for me, sorry to cut you off, it
yeah.
seems to go into overdrive as well. When you have him in a rocked state, then it
Hmm.
goes like you can't hit anything. And that might be because they're now circling at the same time as well. But yeah, I know that was a thing they've like specifically mentioned in the patch, and that again was something that they didn't seem to have fixed. They also, sorry, and something that popped into my head as well.
Yeah.
They said they had fixed the extended length of the body uppercuts, but the straight arm bowling style uppercuts are still in the game as well. So it's like sometimes I'm like, did you actually fix it or is it like a placebo?
Right. And we can only hope that with the next updates as they come out, they will hopefully be able to address things properly. It's like the thing we talked about before in one of the episodes. Every time they do update something, something kind of breaks in return. We haven't really had like a picture perfect patch yet.
Yeah.
And I think hopefully we'll have a few of those over the course of time. So no, I definitely agree with your points there, Orin. What we playing, Mike? Anything to add to that?
I mean, I hate to do this, man, but I really agree with Orin as far I don't like when the reason I say that is because I wish I had more to say, but everything he said is kind of how I feel too. Like a lot of the stuff that I'm seeing in the game, it does kind of feel like, I stream every day, 5 hours a day, and I notice like a lot of punches are missing, like stuff that looks like it should land and stuff that was landing, before the patch. Now it's not. And I also agree with you too, though, Bacon, because I feel like a lot of those issues, no matter how much stuff they patch up, no matter how much, you know, hit detection, whatever, if desync isn't fixed or addressed or is made the main priority, it's not going to matter. Like a lot of what I'm seeing, it's not hit detection or it's not punch tracking. But I feel like when I punch most of the time, it's going where I want it to go,
Mm.
but I don't feel that my opponent is where he is on my screen versus where he is on his screen, and that's ultimately desync. That's ultimately what we've been dealing with, and I still see some wonky animations here and there, like Oren said, like with the bowling kind of body uppercut.
Yeah.
I see a lot of times where players' arms, you'll go for a punch or uppercut, and their arm will kind of lock up. We do weird that their arms kind of flex around real
Mm.
weird. But I mean overall, like yeah, like even like the days states, I feel like it really gets to a point where it's like, dang, this guy can back up faster
Hmm.
than I can run up to him, and by the time I throw one punch, he's already took 2-3 steps back. So
Right.
if you have to kind of figure out some form of cheese, I see a lot of people kind of throwing the straight, the lunging straight now to make up for the distance and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But uh, I do notice some positives about it, but it's really hard to enjoy those few positives that came from the update because it does, unfortunately, right now it does kind of seem like desync is for me it's almost worse than it's ever been, and not even just necessarily. It used to happen on a lot of fights when you fighting somebody across the pond, like if I was fighting somebody from the UK, or like it's a couple guys from New Zealand, I know, Japan, different continents. But it's kind of like now even in the states, if I'm fighting somebody that's almost a state over from me, I'm starting to notice it. And so I'm just I understand why they're putting out patches, and I get it, but I think desync is really like it's really kind of holding all the good positives they're trying to do. They're listing off. I
Hmm.
feel desync is just holding all that back, and so it's all that stuff that they may have done or may be trying to do is just not getting a chance to really shine because of desync. So that's just my 2 cents, man.
100%. No, I think I was preaching this to someone in their stream like not too long ago. Like desync is the number one enemy of this game right now. Like I think I speak for everybody that we all want this game to succeed. The
Yeah,
fact
Hmm.
that, it came out of early access, a lot of games are still stuck in early access and some don't get to see the light of day because they just don't make it. So the fact that this game got a full release and everything and is one of the first like combat sports games to be on pretty much the consoles and PC is a pretty big deal. So it's pretty obvious that we want them to do what they can, but it's a pretty strong fact that desync is it makes or breaks your fight. And if you can't get past it, there's you can't really do what you want to do, like you said. So they need to get a handle on that when they can, and all we can really do is, hold tight and see what they've got cooking in the back.
Definitely.
BBK, anything to add?
Yeah. So we were talking about sim, and one thing this patch did was I think made the game more sim in terms of, I mean, at least for me personally, it's
Hmm.
made me more patient. It's made me choose my punches more, selective, be more
Yeah.
selective with my punching. It's made me like, try to pick my opponent's tendencies and try to, counter off his tendencies or whatnot. So I like the stamina, what they did with the stamina, like
Yeah.
penalizing you for missing power shots and stuff like that, taking longer to recover. So one thing I would give this patch is that, at least for me personally, it's made me a better fighter because it's made me more patient and made me try to find the right punches to throw.
I
Hmm.
agree with
What?
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So one thing I don't like is the counter windows being too fast. I feel like that's made a lot of players fight the same way, which is just as soon as you throw a punch, they want to throw the jab right away to counter or just throw second. They're not initiate. You can't initiate the offense because you get
Right.
penalized for it. That's my only issue with it because I'm an aggressive fighter. I really don't want to just be waiting for you to throw. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's about
And
it for me.
yeah, that is one good positive to note about this update as well. Some people are starting to get the memo that you just can't be throwing punches and expect no punishment. You are taking those penalties, and the penalty is a bit heftier now with those missed punches, excuse me. So having people take their time and actually be a bit more technical, it has been noticed. Some people are more technical about that now, which is great. I would say that once the desync is like in a good position, I think we will probably start to see some really, really good fights. And yeah, you're right about that, BBK. It's good that we want people to really just understand, your opponent has tendencies, and if you can pick it apart, you more than likely have the fight. It's on them to adapt. And then it's just a constant motion of just who can adapt to the other fighter. That's in essence what we want. We want to see that in this game like we see it IRL. There's great fights, there's great fighters. They have the blueprints. We just need them to kind of get there. And that's all I can only hope. We can only hope for that, really. So I think those are all really good points for that topic. I think that'll close that up. I think the last topic I've got for you guys is essentially what are you guys looking forward to in the next update? And is there maybe a fighter or two you would love to see next? We'll keep the trend going. So, Orin, I'll start with you.
By what I'm looking forward, do you mean what I hope will be coming in the next update?
That's yes. Well, I'm trying to be as faithful and have as some optimism. I know it's low for a lot of us right now, but yeah, what do you hope for? Let me
Okay.
reword that.
I hope that they slow down the movement and
Mhm.
add a stamina tax for being in loose footwork. I also hope that they add more of a punishment for being in flat foot. At the moment, the only punishment for being in flat foot is that you move slower. Your punches
Mhm.
are just as fast, just as powerful. You can still power shot, diagonal lunge counter, backdash. Doesn't really seem like you're exhausted like you should be.
Mhm.
And anybody who watches my channel will know how I feel about the block. At the moment, in my opinion, it's like a bulletproof shield. People just use it like a riot shield and walk you down, or they hold it up and run away the whole time. They need to somehow implement a system where punches leak through. And I also want them to nerf the diagonal lunge counters.
Yeah.
They don't have a stamina tax like they should, and people abuse them nonstop. Yeah, so that's my 2 cents.
No, 100%. The lunging, especially, is like you said, there's just no penalty for it. So that's why people are abusing it more and more these days. And yeah, the loose movement thing is a pretty big thing as well because it'll eventually wear you out, moving around like that. I mean, unless you have the cardio of the gods, but eventually you will get tired, especially when people start going for your body. You will inevitably slow down. So that is a very good thing to note, and I hope that they do look into that with the next update. What we playing, Mike? Anything to add?
Yeah, man. I mean, I like a lot of stuff Orin said, and I know I'm probably going to agree with a lot of stuff BBK saying, but honestly, man, we need the loose movement, stamina attacks. It's too many times where guys can just throw one punch and they can just backpedal the whole fight and run around the whole fight. And like you said, man, in real life, you try to get up and go like this and backpedal as fast as you can around your living room for 20 minutes and tell me how tired and throw some punches in there too if you want to just shadow box and then tell me if you're tired or not. But
Mm,
yeah, definitely the blocking, man. I liked how blocking was on console when it first. It seemed like in the beginning you were actually your block health. It actually depleted throughout the fight.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
I definitely noticed and I get it why they buffed it because everybody was Deontay Wilder the power. But I feel at the time a lot of console players hadn't played the game long enough to learn the movement and had to figure out how to get away from Deontay Wilder.
right.
I don't think his power was the problem. Deontay Wilder's 40 something and 0 with 39 knockouts. He got power. I
Hmm.
don't think but I think it was more of just people learning how to move and avoid it, and maybe the speed at which he could throw. But just to stay on topic, I would like to see the vulnerability. I'd really like to see more of a vulnerability. Like I think that would be like how we're talking about the lunging body jab, right? Like that's a huge thing.
Yep.
The reason guys go to that so much is because even if you do the sim thing to do, right? Like we're sim boxing, even if you were to time it right, meet him with a rear uppercut, meet him with a straight, sidestep it. That's what I do. A lot of guys who just keep body jabbing, I'll eventually time it up and just sidestep them, and you can pretty much land any shot you want on them. But they don't. There's no real penalty for seems like forward momentum, or like if I'm leaning to the left and you happen to catch me with a right hook as I'm swaying this way, that it should kind of bypass the health system and be more focused on like UFC does a good job at it where if you're leaning the
Yeah.
wrong way and you
Yeah.
lean it don't matter if it's round 1 15 seconds if you come out doing all this and you lean this way and somebody throw a head kick at the right time it's over with fight over like
Hmm.
so that was always one outside of what Orin already said one of the biggest things that I've always said in the Discord was vulnerability like make guys pay for making those mistakes. It's not about like buffing this or nerfing this, all these different things. It's just guys, if I know that I can just lunge in, body jab, and I know that no matter what you hit me with, unless my stamina is low, that's the only thing I gotta watch is my stamina. But no
Yep.
matter if you hit me with an uppercut, a perfect time count, whatever, I'm gonna be okay. But the minute vulnerability is added, a lot of these the dumb stuff that guys are doing, the minute that's added, it chills out because now I'm starting to pay. Just like BBK was saying, like this update made him a better, feel like a more patient fighter because now you have to pick and choose. So you add vulnerability, guys gonna stop doing it just because they're gonna start getting knocked out. So that's just my 2 cents, man. I ain't gonna take up too much time, but yeah, man.
I agree with you. The vulnerability system is something the game definitely needs, and I think once that happens, I think some fights are going to be a lot spicier and more fun, I would say, with that being implemented. BBK, anything to add to that?
Hmm. Man, what makes me really mad about this game is when I go flat-footed or when my opponent goes flat-footed, I can't win. I can't knock him down. He seems to he seems to have superpowers. And it's like, damn, I worked this whole fight for you, made you miss, worked the body, did all this just to get you flat. Just it worked. I just shot myself in the foot because it worked against me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know if it's just my style of play or whatnot. I know better, better players that take advantage of the situation better. But for me personally, I'm speaking.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I don't like that about it. I wish they could do something about the flat-footed, maybe no power shots when you're flat.
Yeah. You know,
Another
oh,
thing, last patch, I think the counter window was fine. I wish that we could just have that counter window instead of this counter window. And that's about it, man. I'm pretty simple. I agree with all the things the guys are saying. Like if they was to implement all those little things to the game, I'll adapt to it and I'll be fine with it. But for me, it's just more about I'm so used to how the game has been so far. So I just want you to fix the counter window how it was,
Yep.
and I'm happy with that. And the flat footness.
Yeah, I agree with that flat
Yeah,
footed.
I definitely agree with that too. Like you shouldn't be able to do superpowers when you're flat foot. It is pretty crazy. And like you mentioned with that before, that is something we would love to see. So I don't really have much to add. You guys pretty much hit every nail on the head. I think we'll go ahead and wrap this up with what's one fighter you would like to see in the next DLC pack? We'll go around the room. Orin,
Uh, I know you said one. Can I just say two? I
go ahead and
want
say two. I
Prince.
said, yeah, I said two originally. So yeah, two.
Okay, I want Prince Nasir Mohammed. I think there's not no fighter in the world more suited and would be more fun to use on a video game than him.
Hmm.
And Ben Whitaker, who is like a bigger version of him, and he's from where I'm from, so I'll go with Ben Whitaker as well.
Nice. About to say, I would like to see those two. We'll be playing Mike. Who you want?
Hey man, people that know me, y'all know I'm a big Tank Davis. Stop playing. Sign the con. Hey, sign up. You retire. You if he retired or not, go on, sign up. You got you some money coming in, money flow while the fights ain't going on. And then after Tank, man, probably my next favorite up and coming guy. I mean, I know Abdullah Mason. I'm gonna keep going with him. I'd like
That's a
to
good
see some
pick.
of you. I respect to all the legends, but I want to see some of the younger faces, man. The people that's boxing right now, though. So yeah, Abdullah Mason and Tank Davis, man. That's me.
Fair enough. Okay. And BBK, two fighters you want.
Man, we need Mike Tyson, man. It's like MOB. You got MOB, but you don't got Barry Bonds in the game. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
Hmm.
crazy. I need Mike Tyson in the game, and then I need Miguel Cotto, bro. You know,
Yep.
Yes. I think he was on my list too to have hopefully soon. Oh, those are good ones. Those are good ones.
man. If
If
I
I
had
had,
Miguel Cotto, I'll play the game every day, nonstop.
Man,
I think I had a list somewhere. If I had to pick two, I would pick probably maybe James Tony
Nice pick.
and Mikkel Kessler, if anyone knows him.
Nope.
I'm gonna go look
Nope.
him up.
I'm gonna
Okay.
look him up too.
Y'all might
Yeah,
like him. I think I'm trying to remember who he fought that you guys probably know of, but I think once you see his name and you probably might remember who he fought. But those two, but yeah, Mikkel Kessler probably like an off pick. So let me change that to Willie Pep if y'all want to
Oh,
go old
nice.
school. So yeah, I would go with those. Yeah, I think that about wraps up this episode. So thank you so much, BBK, What We Playing Mike and Orin for being a part of the show. You guys contributed. It was great to have you on the show. Hopefully in the next coming update, we will have more to discuss when that happens, and we hope to see you when that update comes out, and we'll talk about it.
definitely, man. Thank you for
Salute,
having me.
salute. Thank you for
Thank you
having
for
me.
having me.
All right, everyone, have a great night, and we will see you on the next episode. Take care.